Good morning. It's been a very, very weird morning. How about you? Or in America? How's your evening going? Um, I don't know what's happening with Facebook this morning here, but it's crashed the video a couple of times, but I think we'll be right now because I'm not going to use the app. I'm just going to sit on Facebook and do this morning's video. This morning, I want to talk to you about the power of saying no. Okay, I have 5 tips and I'm hoping that I'm able to bring them up here for you. How that's going to work, I'll just maybe I can put a comment in. Let's just stick out. Okay, I can't put them in at the moment, so I will post them down below once the video is over and done with. Okay, thanks for your patience this morning. Glitches happen when we're dealing with technology, that's for sure. Okay, so 5 tips for the power of saying no. Third time lucky, guys. Okay, people need to learn their own lessons. When you're a rescuer in life, as in you love helping other people, we often miss that they actually need to go through the hardship or the challenging time. And I don't mean hardship as in leave them to do things on their own. I mean stand back and say, no, I can see that they need to work through this themselves. So in saying no, you're stopping your codependent behaviour and you're allowing them to build a toolbox in their life of things that can equip them for the rest of their life as they go through challenges. Okay. Tip 2, the more you say no to, the more you will refine your purpose. So we actually need a part of our heart, we need to get behind our heart and focus on our heart and soul. And we can't do that if we're saying yes to everything outside of us, outside of our sphere, outside of our influence, etc., etc. Especially when you've got adult kids. You've just got to learn to say no. They've left home. You've got to learn to say no. And if that toddler is throwing itself on the ground and having a tantrum, then they have to work through the fact that it's not going to work for them, so you've got to walk away. I remember my son did this once. He was actually 4 and said to me, grumble, 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 I'm running away from home at 4. And I just went, this will be good. And so we got his kindy bag, the old backpacks, and packed it full of his clothes from his drawer and put it on his back, and I sent him on his way. Meanwhile, I stood beside the front door. It's got those glass panels that are not see-through. You can't see through them, but they're glass. The words just went opaque. No, opaque's not the right word. Anyhow, he couldn't see me as I watched him walk up the front yard. Now, the front yard had a bit of a verge, so he had to climb up a very slight hill. Anyhow, he didn't make it up that slight hill, and he comes back to the front door, and all I could do was, I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. He said, I want to come home. And I said, yeah, sure, but on one condition, that you do as you're told. And he could have said yes. And so he came back in, we unpacked his bag. But sometimes we have to go through those challenges and we have to learn that saying no, I'm not going to, your behaviour is not acceptable. It's just not going to happen on my time. Okay? They've got to learn these lessons. They've got to go through that experience in order that they know what their limit is in life and whatever other tools they may need to go and seek other tools. Okay? We're not the answer to the world's problems. The more you say no to, the more you will refine your purpose. So if you're saying yes to everybody else and you can't see any way through it, like I have a friend that she does incredible amounts for other people, but she really needs to take time out for herself. Okay? You cannot live out the purpose of your heart and be there, at a greater extent for other people if you're doing it with the wrong heart motivations. Now, you might think that your heart is, I just want to help them, But at the end of the day, you've got to sit back and ask the question of yourself, am I helping them because I want to feel good, or I'm helping them because they asked me and they need it? Or am I helping them from a position of, I don't think they can do it without me? And we cannot live life that way, because there's so much information, so much help available today, that we are not the sole centre of somebody's help and way through life. And if you're expecting other people to be the centre of your life and be the person who helps you through it, then that's very codependent as well. So you've got to start being responsible for yourself. Tip number 3, you will build resilience for the harder times in life. As you learn to say no on the easy things, when the harder things in life come along, you will know instinctively that you need to say no and you need to take a step back. You can't be a risk taker if you're always doing the same thing the same way, day in and day out, okay? There's more to that, but it's a bigger chat show than we've got time for this morning. Tip number 4, you will teach others responsibility for their actions, which we touched on in tip 1 as well. I'm not responsible for the mess your life is in, especially when we're talking about adults here. And I've particularly seen in a couple of networking groups I'm in that ladies are commenting about how their husbands aren't happy that they've got their own businesses and they're making money, even though the money isn't necessarily the same amount every week like, you know, a normal 9-to-5 job. This past week I have seen 2 women comment, what do I do? And at the end of the day, not only do the husbands have to be responsible for their actions and their life, they also have to be responsible for their emotions. So in the power of saying no, I have to sit in my centre and say, well, you're responsible for your emotions. I'm more than upholding my end of our financial needs in the household, and they are. How you're feeling about that is something that you need to address. And it's not my responsibility. And we can find that in life, even in friendships, that people want to make it our responsibility for how they feel. I mean, I think I heard even yesterday someone say to me, oh, they made me feel that way. No. The situation may have put you in circumstances that you could feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, you still are responsible for how you're going to feel about it and how you're going to react about it and how long you're going to hold on to it for, okay? We cannot keep believing the lie that somebody else makes us feel that way. Yes, it's a normal process to feel grief when someone dies, but I'm also responsible for where I'm going to direct my grief. Yes, when someone's angry at me or judgmental, I'm going to be upset. But they didn't make me feel that way. The circumstances or the situation did, and now it's up to me how I deal with those emotions. Okay, so we need a greater level of responsibility all around. Tip 5, you will free up more of your time for the things that you feel passionate about. And what will also happen is when you've got more time, more people will come alongside you who do take responsibility for their own emotional health and their own life, okay? It's a whole woven together process that as you shift and change, so will other people, all right? And it's better to have people around you that want to take responsibility for their own life and want to be responsible for their own emotions than to have people who, pardon me, constantly want to drain you, constantly want your time, your attention, your information. And I'm not saying, you know, you kick all those people out of your life. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is you have to learn to say no. And when you learn to say no, someone else will come in and fill the void in their life because they need to learn to say no. And that person needs to learn to take responsibility for their emotional responses to their life. Okay? Thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience today, because I think Facebook's a bit cranky with the app I was using and is starting to just want us to use Facebook Live. I'm going to look into it. But anyhow, any comments, questions, feel free to have a conversation below and I will help you in any way that I can. All right, till tomorrow morning, have a great day. And if you're in America, have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.